One nation, one day. The prophet Isaiah asked, can a nation be saved in a day? Can a country be brought forth in a moment? Well, Dominic Russo and Missions.me took that challenge and they took that verse literally and said, yes. And they decided to start meeting regularly and on purpose with the president of Honduras and all of the administration and started presenting to them a plan to bring God to that nation, to bring hope to that nation, and to see that nation changed in a day. So with that, he called on us. There were 40 people from Cross Creek that said, yes, we will also accept this challenge. We will also move forward with moving into the possibility of being part of the greatest movement of missionaries ever. And so with that, we stepped forward and we raised money and we got what we needed to get in order to be where we needed to be. So on July 12th, we took off and we went to Florida. July 13th, we met up with 2,000 other missionaries in Miami to get prepared and to get ready and to just dream about what it was that we were going to do and what God had called us to do in Honduras. And man, it was awesome. So as we worshiped together, as we prayed together, as we talked with each other about what God had put on each one of our own personal hearts, we got excited for the possibility of being part of something historic. So then on the 14th, we got on planes. There were 3 different times set for a 747 full of 470 people on each flight to fly into Honduras. And each time this plane landed, everybody that got off the plane was greeted with banners, singing, bands, people cheering us on, people excited for us. The Hondurans had been waiting for this day to come, and we were so excited to be there. And man, it was such an encouraging moment. And we got on buses, and then everybody separated. We went off to our own states and our own places. As we got to La Paz, which was the state that God had called us to, we felt this ability to just know that God was already present, that He had already set up His plan in advance for us to be there. So Monday, we woke up and we got started and we met and we talked and we prayed and then we practiced and got ready for the ministry at hand, and then we went out. And wow, what a beginning to a great week. We met in schools, we met at churches, towns, and villages. So we were able to reach most of La Paz's young people with the message of Christ and His gospel and His hope. And the cool thing is that out of the 4,394 people that we met, that we got to talk to, that we got to present the gospel to, 1,748 people said yes to Jesus Christ, said yes to the hope that Jesus has for them and the hope that they can have in knowing Him as their Savior. So the cool thing is that everywhere we went, every school we stepped into, every church we went to, every crowd that we ran into, people were thanking us for being there, thanking us for coming, thanking us for bringing God to Honduras. And it was an amazing thing. It was just a blessing to be a part of it and to really see the hand of God that goes out before us when we make a decision to follow His will and follow His direction. What a blessing for each and every single one of us that made a decision to say yes to God's call in our life and to step forward into the calling of ourselves to be a part of one nation, one day, the changing of Honduras.
Hi, my name is Rachel Prince, and I served on the medical team that went to La Ceiba in Honduras. And our team was made up of doctors, nurses, optometrists, and dentists. Every day we saw around 300 people. We were welcomed into the clinic by standing ovation, clapping, and cheers. It was a very humbling and honoring experience to experience that every day. From there, we saw people with a variety of medical problems, emotional problems, and we provided medical care, dental care, glasses. Some people saw a doctor for the very first time in their lives. Others received medication and vitamins for the first time in their lives. We experienced emotions of extreme happiness and also extreme sadness for seeing the type of conditions that people live in, the poverty level that they experience. As a team, we laughed a lot, we also cried a lot. and the experience overall was hard to describe in words, but I think the easiest way to describe it is you feel alive after leaving and interacting with these people. You truly see God's heart and the power that He has when you give your time and effort to Him. Seeing 35,000 people raise their hands to reach God and to feel His hope is something that just renews your spirit and makes you feel alive.
The crusade was absolutely fantastic, and even leading up to the crusade, it was phenomenal how Americans and Hondurans were coming together in order to truly share God's love and to prepare for this glorious occasion. The day before, we just got through with some ministries handing out food and shoes, and we decided, you know what, before going back to the hotel, we're gonna go to the stadium. We're gonna pray over every seat. We're gonna pray over the grounds. And as we gathered there were already people from Honduras there. And as we joined hands and we started to pray and to sincerely ask God for Honduras and for La Paz, where we were specifically located, we could feel the Holy Spirit start to come and drop. And even more so when we realized that there were circles of other Hondurans that were praying intensely, praying and asking God to come into their nation, come into La Paz, come be a part of the new Honduras. And even so, when we got done praying, we looked up, and all around the stands, there were people with their arms stretched out, blessing the stadium, blessing the day. So we went around and we just did that. And I gotta tell you, if there's a taste of heaven on earth, that was it. People from all nations coming around, serving the same God and asking God for the same purpose, so that God would be in our nation. It was phenomenal. The day of the crusade obviously topped the whole week out. The whole stadium by the end of the night was completely packed. It was fantastic. There was over 20,000 people there. Everything from the dramas to the worship to the prayer was God ordained, and it was fantastic. The mayor of La Paz got on stage, and our state sponsor, the person giving the message that night, led him to Christ on stage in front of 20,000 people. After Assad, who was our state sponsor speaker, gave his message and asked who wants to join this new Honduras, who wants to commit their life to God and commit to the new Honduras. You looked around the stadium and all hands were just up. All hands were praising God. All hands were saying, yes, thank you. And the feeling was like anything you're gonna find in this world. It was just phenomenal. After we said the prayer, we committed the new Honduras to God and asked for His blessing on it. Assad asked if anyone needed healing, and our teams were instructed to go into the specific places and pray for people. And God continued to move, and God showed up. And anything that you might read about in the Bible were people that were deaf, heard again. People that were blind, they saw again. It was incredible. People that had never walked or hadn't walked in years were prayed over intensely. We were petitioning God for their healing, and they rose up out of that wheelchair, got on that stage and said, Gloria a Dios, to God be the glory, I now can walk. It was fantastic. Personally, I had a chance to pray for a gentleman who said, I'm gonna die. The doctors told me there's nothing else they can do for my heart, I will die. We prayed over him, we prayed healing into his life, we prayed that God would give him more time in this earth. He said, Bien, my heart feels good. We got him to a dry ground. He was doing jumping jacks. He was raising his arms, praising. He said, my heart is good, my heart is healed. God is a God of miracles, and God showed up. It was incredible. And there's nothing else like the mission field. You can go and experience God at camp. You can go and experience God at a retreat. But when you see God work and you see God change lives and heal the souls and heal the body, it's absolutely incredible.
Can a nation be saved in a day? A country changed in a moment? The ancient prophet Isaiah asked this bold question nearly 3,000 years ago. And now, this audacious question has been answered. In late 2011, President Lobo Sosa of Honduras signed a resolution declaring one nation, one day, a national holiday. He also gave legal authorization and full support for every One Nation, One Day initiative, including free access to the 18 largest stadiums in all 18 states of Honduras. Because of this, the One Nation, One Day team decided to strategically place 18 teams across the entire nation. Our goal was to reach every person in every state. This was an enormous challenge. In order to have face-to-face interaction with every person in Honduras, we would have to assemble the largest missions team in history. Guess what? We did. Over 2,000 missionaries and translators infiltrated virtually every high school in the entire nation. With dramas, one-on-one prayer, and a school-wide call to salvation, we knew that if we were going to change a nation, we would have to start with a generation. Over the course of the week, our One Nation, One Day team inspired over 253,000 students to pursue their dreams and follow Jesus. In the same week, we mobilized hundreds of doctors, dentists, and medical professionals to provide free medical care and medicine to those living in extreme poverty. This group of dedicated people worked hard throughout the week to bring life-saving aid and spiritual healing to the people in need. Along with the medical aid, we also distributed over 2 million meals to over 266,000 impoverished families. The One Nation, One Day team partnered with Samaritan's Feet and distributed 110,000 pairs of shoes to needy children. In order to ensure lasting impact and sustainable discipleship, we worked in cooperation with virtually every local pastor in Honduras. 23,000 pastors and leaders gathered in the largest cities for training events with some of the world's most influential church leaders, like Tommy Barnett, John Bevere, Carrie Job, and Miles Monroe. In addition to the Pastors' Conference, 1,000 of the most influential state and national political leaders, including President Lobo Sosa, gathered in the capital city of Tegucigalpa to attend our One Nation, One Day political conference. All of these events and this historic week-long campaign culminated into one groundbreaking moment that changed the entire nation. On Saturday, July 20th, 487,000 people gathered across 18 different cities and the 18 largest stadiums as the message of the gospel resonated throughout the country. Millions watched or listened on live TV as it aired on every national Honduran station and streamed on over 37 radio stations. And the following morning, the front page of all 4 Honduran national newspapers read, "We have a new Honduras."
In the new Honduras, we love ourselves, so we discover and complete our purpose. In the new Honduras, we love our children, so we give them education. We love our family, so we pass on our values. In the new Honduras, we love our nation, so we believe in its prosperous future. And Father in heaven,
Y Padre en el cielo,
we invite your kingdom to come to the nation of Honduras.
invitamos tu reino venga a la nación de Honduras.
Can a nation be saved in a day? Yes, it can. One nation, one day.